Seeing if anybody's up. Hit like, thumbs up, share it out if you get it. I'm gonna wait for people to come in. What's up, Tiffany? You up late this evening? How you doing, baby? You been watching the news? And can you hear me? I should be able to hear me. I think you can hear me. All right, good deal. You been watching the news? I'm looking over here because it's the chat. Okay, whatever you wrote, it says message. Oh, you retracted it. You changed it. Girl, I'm growing hairs down here in the neck. I pulled one out over here. He was thick. Look, I don't grow that much hair on my head, but he was as thick as the stuff on my head. Like I had a whisker. Welcome to being an old woman. Oh, Lord. I was getting on here. I don't know if there's going to be that many people because I didn't announce I was going to do this. People can watch it later. If they do, they can give a like, thumbs up, whatever. What's your take on it? I have my own take on everything. What's your take on the whole war? What's your take on it? So I got my own take on this whole thing. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not, never have been. I'm a realist, but I also have my Christian views in the background. But I also know, I told people, I think in the last video, COVID ain't over. But while I think the disease is going to be something they're going to try to manage, and I don't know if it's going to be, because they made Omicron seem as though that was a thing where everybody was going to get what old boy in the previous administration was called herd immunity, or herd capability to be able to try to combat it when it comes up, and we just have to get vaccines like the flu every year, 3 or 4 times a year, whatever they're going to do. My concern was more how my view was that it's not over because of the economic hit that it did worldwide, because we no longer are like where Americans used to make. We had factories. Hey, Miss Lee, what's up, baby? Where America, we talking about the war, where America used to have its factories, and we used to, well, that's what I'm gonna get to, because I don't know. This is where I'm concerned. I don't know. Either way it goes is bad all the way around. We talking about the war. Um, Either way it goes is bad all the way around. Okay. It's bad all the way around for a couple of different reasons. When I said on my last video that there was going to be that everybody is like, oh, COVID's over. Because I'm watching as these people are out here. Matter of fact, I had to take Lyft today because I had to go do the CT scan, which went well. They did do it. We got it done finally. Better service, different imaging facility, perfect. And they were really cool. But I got that done, and then I went and had lunch because I couldn't eat all day until I had it done, which was in the afternoon. And so I finally got it done. I was like, well, I'm gonna go sit down and have lunch, and I needed to process because I kind of knew this war was coming. And then I need to stop and get just a few things at the grocery store. And anytime I see canned goods on sale, I buy them. So like they had Progresso soup on sale, and they had Chef Boyardee on sale, like $1. So I went and bought the maximum I could and brought them home. So like I'm stocked up on soup. My soup is stocked. My Chef Boyardee, I have 2 rows and well, it's gonna be a 3-row stack, or 2-row triple stack. And then my soup, I'm 3 rows triple stacked as well on my industrial shelves. I don't show them because I learned, in my view, it's best not to show what you got going on. But with the war, I had a couple of things that bothered me about the whole thing. One, it is to me, in the way the US was acting, it was like kind of they were stoking it. But I also had concerns because Putin had reached out in the beginning of this whole thing to Biden. I'm like, why would you reach out to America to tell them whatever you got to say about possibly going to war with a portion of Russia that used to be y'all? This is all, I think, before the Berlin Wall, right, fell down. And all these years y'all been separate, but now all of a sudden we gonna do this. So it was kind of weird to me. And it's still weird to me. And in my own mind, I got my own thoughts on it. So I'm gonna say this. Sometimes when you making chess moves about a situation, the best chess move is deception. So if I can make you maybe look at a war, I can let you know that there may be economic reasons, and maybe if we do this, it can then say, okay, we ain't gonna really blame it on COVID because of this war. We're gonna have increases in prices. We already did because of COVID, but also war tends to, it can be a moneymaker. It's a huge loss of life, but it can also sometimes be money. You can lose money. You can lose your shirt in it, but it can also help you justify stuff, but it also can be a moneymaker. And it also can get people to look at a situation and take their focus off of what's truly going on. Thank you, Micheline. That's exactly what it is. You point blank period. The people at the bottom, and I think I said this when I did the last video, the people at the bottom are the ones who are going to suffer quite a bit. Um, People like us, the regular folk. Um, it just, this whole thing just out of the blue. It was too, after COVID or during COVID, at the end of, or what people are looking at as the end of COVID, which is not the end. I think this is a way to put people's focus on something other than COVID. So now we've been touting about the war, the war, the war. All the media is involved in it, the war, the war, the war, the war. And it's not a war that's on our soil. Hey, Chicago BBW, what's up, baby? It's not a war that's on our soil. That's what, and I heard another guy, his name's Led Farmer. He talks a lot about homesteading and prepping and stuff. He's a brother. And he was saying, which I don't necessarily agree with him, he said, can't we just mind our own blank business? Basically, mind our own business. We up in everybody else's business. Yes, that's what I want to get to, Micheline. It's the money. Because I went to the store today and I saw some things that I haven't even done it for my Christian channel yet because I'm going to be doing that after I get off here. But I wanted to kind of chat on here. But what I saw today in the grocery store, what I was piecemealing in my spirit, um, what I have felt the Lord has been kind of showing me for a minute is, and I kept telling my people, you guys need to stock food, you need to stock water, you need to have canned goods. And, it's unfortunate Grumpy passed, but because I was stocking for him and me, I was actually stocking for both of us because the dreams and stuff and the unctions I was getting were so strong. And I knew that he was so belligerent, he wasn't going to do what he needed to do. But he helped me where I kind of crashed out there when I was doing trucking and I could stay there and, and try to either get on my feet or try. I was trying to transition actually out to Texas. And, um, or if I came off the truck, I could crash there without, no major financial repercussions. And then try to, like when I got on the wheels out there and just try to get on my feet from leaving trucking because it's a financial hit when you switch up like that. So I was stocking for both of us because I knew he wouldn't do it. And he was grumpy. He is my biological father. He was grumpy. But as the oldest kid and the other child was incarcerated that's underneath me, and the other kids weren't, in my opinion, I don't know that they would have taken him into that degree. And I am a massive night owl, Kathy. Girl, bye. I am hugely a night person. I just, I was stocking for both of us. So right now, on board in this house, if I had to, I think I have at least a year's supply of food where I could eat from canned goods and never go to a grocery store. Between my dry goods, my canned goods, never go to a grocery store. As long as I probably have water, I'd be okay. And I probably need to get my bottled water back up. I mean, I'm okay, but I need to get it back up to where I had it and then some. But the prayer is that this doesn't come to our soil. Um, However, I don't know what Biden and them are going to do. I am not necessarily a Biden fan. I was not a fan of the last administration. Biden and them is okay. I'm not a fan of him or the other chick with him. I just am not. But I don't think we had a lot of choices. But I also think this is all in God's hands anyway, even the last administration and the current. But I think this is about money. I really do. And I think it's about money overall because this is a distraction. And it's a distraction from the economic world hit that is going to happen because of the ripple effects of what happened with COVID. We have to understand, a former mother of one of my churches, she said to me, who but God can shut down the world in 3 days, which is exactly what happened. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you, Micheline. Um, but who but can do that? And what we have to understand, this has ripple effects on a bigger level. And I think financially, whether it be Russia, whatever country it is, we now need to look at things economically. Oh, out the clear blue, I don't want Ukraine to join NATO. From what I understand, this whole NATO discussion goes way back to Bush. Okay, Condoleezza Rice Bush during that time frame. So all of a sudden, out the clear blue, you're gonna pull a fart out your butt and say, "Oh, I don't want them to join NATO, so I'm going to invade." Makes no sense. But again, I think all of this is a distraction, and I think that, at least in my spirit, I'm not a political genius, but none of it makes sense to me. Like I said, just clearly out the blue. And I think this kind of justifies stimulating economies, especially, right, especially stimulating economies, especially places like Russia, and everybody getting hit. But at the same time, it also justifies downfall of economies as well. Because now, because of this is happening, we got to boost all these prices up even more. So now we can even justify more of the inflationary cost because it's going to be tied to Russia. Now, somebody got to help me, but a lot of our outsourced material comes from China. I thought that most of our fuel and gas, all that stuff, I thought that was the Middle East and not Russia. But now I'm hearing, oh, Russia's this major supplier of oil and gas or whatever. When weren't we going through the Middle East for that? Also, the how we had to pull out, oh, because of supposedly whatever agreement previous administration said to Afghanistan. Now, my whole thing was the whole Afghanistan was about oil and stuff in the first place. That was my whole thing. That's what I thought in the first place. And then we all of a sudden had to pull out because of whatever previous agreement and drama. I don't know what's true, what's false. Because I don't always believe everything I hear, especially when it comes down to politics and politicians. Exactly my point. Micheline, I don't know. I'm 53 years old. And my understanding is that we have always done a lot of our exports of gas and fuel from the Middle East. That was my understanding. Now I understand Russia may supply fuel and stuff to certain other, but I understood America was mainly, I mean, we might have some agreements with Russia, but my understanding is that we usually got that exports from the Middle East. Russia not in the Middle East. Y'all help me. I need to understand. But now all of a sudden, as I said, stuff don't make sense to me. There's a whole bunch that's not making sense to me. And now all of a sudden we're like, oh, well, our gas price is going up because Russia's this major win. Win. And the other thing I've always been a proponent because Russia has been an enemy of ours for a long time. Ever since I was a child, the Berlin Wall. I was around before the Berlin Wall fell down. I wasn't around when the Berlin Wall came down. The Berlin Wall had to do with Russia. Part of I think why Ukraine is separate because the wall came down and you now have freedoms and you didn't have people that were trying to escape and get killed for crossing the wall and leaving Russia. So I don't understand. So we weren't ever friends. We weren't buddies. Micheline, are we on the same page? Kathy, that's what I'm thinking. I think it's a justification um, to detract from the fact that economically we're jacked. And not only us, but the world. The hit to COVID, um, everything is just, but we're also on a spiritual level, we're at an end time event anyway. I already know this is lining up for some other bigger things to come. So from a Christian standpoint, I know this is lining up for the introduction of what we call the Antichrist in the Bible and for a time that's to come. So this is to line up for that. If you don't understand biblical events, I do know that Russia and China are going to be two of the biggest proponents in the end time events that are going to happen. And those two together, I think they're going to combine, if I remember correctly, their forces, and they're going to come against um, Jerusalem and other things. There's a whole bunch going on, and this right now is like a stage being set. But the deception of it all is the deception of it all is what's just absolutely amazing to me. This, like I said, this war against Ukraine, and then you got NATO, which is a group of nations that are aligned to say, oh, we don't agree with you, Russia, and the way you're doing this. So now all of a sudden, Russia's going to say, okay, well, we're going to sanction whatever fuel and gas. Now, they talked about Germany. I guess Germany got hit with it, but then the United States is now saying, oh, that's impacting us too. And I didn't, like I said, I'm really shocked because when did we go into this relationship? Don't ever trust, just because your enemy all of a sudden, I'm going to say might have laid down for a minute, don't mean he still ain't your enemy. Russia and us have never been really friends. And like when the Berlin Wall, that did not make us friends. I mean, yeah, the West may have had an influence on your people to want a type of freedom, but that don't mean that Russia was our friend. It just meant that the people finally there was enough transition into where they had enough and they took that wall down, and no longer was this divide. And then these people went and were independent, and Russia was independent on this thing. And then it's too much going on. It don't look right. And when I was at the grocery store tonight, I went on my way back home. I stopped because, like I said, I wanted to get some. They had canned goods on sale and a few items. I didn't get a lot. I meant to bring that bill back here. And I saved like 54% on the bill. And I think when I got through, my bill was like 40 some dollars. So that tells you how much. If I saved 54%, that means that bill is going to be close to 80, 90 bucks. I I was walking through, and I like to observe. I don't know, it's how God shows me stuff. And I'm watching how, well, I'm always a frugal shopper, but I was watching how people were shopping. And what I noticed is I looked at how little people were taking out the store because they didn't have the money. Yeah, man. That's facts. Hell, you can raise a dog, it'll bite you. Right. So I was in the store and I'm watching how people were shopping. And I'm looking at how little people were getting, which goes back to a dream I had, with the dream where this person had a little bit of food on a plate. And I went in to ask to order something. And the guy said, "We're out of this." And I noticed how little bit of food people in the restaurant had on the plate. Today, that grocery store scene reminded me of that dream. When I was in there, I was just watching. I was watching the older people that were coming in. I'm watching people that are probably my age, and I'm watching how little they had. I'm looking at the meat section. Because I didn't even buy any meat, but I wanted to go through, and I did have to. I wasn't buying oxtails, but I wanted to see what the price of the oxtails were at this particular store. And when I went through there, I just looked, and there were two big oxtails like this, and then some itty bitty oxtails in a package. And the package was about this big. It wasn't even that big. 17, $18. I was like, what in the Sam hell? So I'm seeing stuff, and I'm going, stuff ain't right. Stuff is not right. The seniors are going to get hit, but also lower income middle class folks are what you used to consider middle class. Middle class called po class, now they po. Not as the poor really hit. The people who were previously po, that's almost destitute, and now your middle class is what's considered your poor. And when I was in there, I'm looking at, like I said, I saw a lady. She just had the top part of her cart filled with a few things, and she was standing in line. I watched a guy come in. He had some bananas. He had enough to hold in his hand, and he got one of those little baskets. And don't get me wrong, there's people that may live just like that. But it was the amount of people I saw in the grocery store coming out with what looked to be just enough. Okay, and I'm just going to say that, which you could tell this is not typical. I did $40 for that. I got it in the freezer right now for what I'm supposed to be doing for the little soul food restaurant, and I mean soul food restaurant recipe for Joe, and that I'm not giving them all of them, but I'm gonna make a soul food batch of them and do it the way we do it, Southern, like a black, soul food version of it, because he did how they do it on the Latino side, which they make a stew, which was phenomenal, but I'm gonna be doing the soul food version with the gravy and the mashed potatoes and all that. So I might do that this Sunday actually, and then make him a plate where he can take it. 'Cause he said, "Yeah, I want to try it," so where he could take it to go. So I may be doing that. I did actually barbecue the other day. Actually, was it last night? I did a smoked. Well, I did smoked barbecue. I did a hen, and then I did some thighs. I had some frozen thighs. That's what my friend who made them for her son. She said they had asked her to make him, and when she told me she spent $80, I was like, $80. And when she said $10 a pound, I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then Joseph was like, Shannon, she must have went to the wrong place. I said, bruh, she bought them at, I think it was Food City, which is like, Food City is semi black, well, semi more Latino grocery store here. And so usually your Latino stores you get better deals on stuff. It don't matter what Latino store you go to, $10 a pound, $10 to $11 a pound. So, I think $9.99 a pound, depending on which ones you get. I bought some. They were the ones I got were $9.99 a pound, so $10 a pound. Actually, I finally made the sauce. I made a batch, and I haven't made a batch in a while, so I made a batch. It came out really good. I make a couple different versions. So do this one. And I had to make my base. That's what my base took a minute, and I did it in the Instapot, which the Instapot infuses the flavor. I need to do a bigger batch, But I did about because I wanted to see how I was going to do it. I've been wanting to sample it in the instant. About y'all, I got a hair right here in my neck. It's a whisker, and I'm trying to pull that baby out, and I can't see it because it's so dark down here. But it's right there, and you can feel it. It's like a whisker. Shut the front door, girl. It's $10 a pound here in Arizona. And I was talking to a customer and he's like, well, you guys in the South. I said, no, no, no. I'm not in the South. I said, I'm in the Southwest. I said, the South is the first two. I think you guys were the first ones to start seeing food shortages on the shelves. I didn't see that. Now, I don't listen to the ones at Walmart because Walmart always has been kind of funky about filling their shelves. But when I went into my main grocery stores and I start seeing stuff missing, hey, Wendy. Oh no, we start talking about the war and stuff. We talking about just running our mouth. But when I went there to the regular grocery store and I start seeing the gaps on the shelves, that became disconcerting. Today I saw areas that had gaps mainly because stuff was on sale, and so sale stuff I get running out. But normally back in the day, even with sale stuff, you had an oversupply and they would come back out and fill it. Like today I went in there and they had cream cheese on sale. Cream cheese was totally out. I mean, they hadn't even come back out and fill it, so I'm figuring it was out. They did bagels and Thomas bagels and Thomas English muffins. And I found like one of the one I wanted, and then there was like one bagel on the shelf, and then they had another little section near the cream cheese. They only had two, so they had pretty much sold out of that. Um, Once I get a car, I'm gonna be start doing my shopping back because for frugality's sake, I used to shop at the 99 cents only store first because there were things you could get like bread and stuff you could get. Are you industry talking about trucking or industry as far as everything as far as like groceries, food, and all of that? Because we were talking about the war, which I'm gonna get back to in a minute. But yeah, right now the cost of stuff, like I said, when I was in that store, I was watching and I'm looking at people and I'm like, okay, I'm seeing what like I said, I was telling my Christian group at early part of the pandemic when I started having dreams to start um stocking food. Yeah, Wendy, put in there whatever you thought about trucking. There's a lot going on in that industry as well. But I told people start stocking food because I just knew something was coming from the dreams I was having. I believe that some of our shortages are going to grow worse due to they're going to blame it on the war, but I really believe it goes back to the whole COVID madness. Um, I believe it's going to go back to the economic issues. I believe it's going to go to the greed of the people, as you say, on top. Because you're right, the rich they're gonna keep making money in their own way. They usually profit off stuff like this. Um, it's just it's sick, but they do. And if you the guy on the bottom, unless you have a windfall or some luck, you stuck like Chuck. But at the same time, you have to be careful because sometimes we think the rich get away with stuff. But if y'all ever get a chance, go read the story in the Bible of Joseph. And Joseph is the one his brother sold him into slavery, and he ended up being the second or the right hand of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh had that dream about the famine coming, and Joseph interpreted it. Let me come back to that, Wendy, because that the whole everything going on with that is a whole nother level of madness. But go read about that famine and read about how it was handled and read what happened to people who were very wealthy. People who were wealthy for food and they needed food, they traded away their land to Egypt to be fed. Go read it. So sometimes while we realize people out of greed, you think it's all about money. You're going to get your feelings hurt at a certain point. If things get really bad, you might get your feelings hurt. And all that windfall and all your love of money is might hurt your feelings. It might hurt your feelings. Because I got people I know who are in love with their money. And they want to be showy and flashy and they caught up into themselves. And if you go and you look, go read it. You can go read it. It's go read the story of Joseph in the Bible. Get back with me. And I will tell you what happened. His brothers traded him into slavery, and I believe it was God's intention because Joseph needed some humility, but also Joseph needed to be placed in Egypt to become who he became. But he had a gift of interpreting dreams. Pharaoh had to dream about a famine coming. He didn't know what the dream meant. Joseph told him what the dream meant. Pharaoh put him in command to actually start stocking for 7 years. This was to be 7 years of famine. They did 7 years of food storage, and they actually fed not only Egypt but other folk too. And folks actually traded land, very wealthy people, so that they could eat. Okay, so you gotta be very careful. Um, you gotta be very careful when it's about your money, because this, I believe what's coming is going to be a lesson on a much bigger level. We've become, in the world also, a lot of the world, especially first world countries, we have become very self-centered, self-focused, especially this new generation of 40 and unders. It's about the car, it's about the house, it's about the flash, it's about the PlayStation, it's about the phone, it's about the poses, it's about, what they call being sexy. Right now, a lot of them don't even know what's going on because they don't watch the news and they have zero understanding of life. If it's not about them, they don't really care. And the problem with that is that it's going to start impacting them being able to eat. There are three massive things our body needs. It needs food, it needs water, and it needs to expel impurities. That means to piss and poop. If it can't do those three things, there is a problem. We even have to wash ourselves. Otherwise, that can also cause some infection and disease. People are about to learn some serious lessons if what I think is about to happen happens. How far that's going to come into the American shores, I don't know. But I think there's going to be other countries. And like I said, I think that what's going on with this war will be a justification on the things to come economically, on all levels. And not only to us, it's going to be a nationwide, worldwide event. And everybody, the economic hit is going to be so hard. That's not going to be funny. For those of us who are Christian, if you prayerfully have any spiritual wisdom, your eyes should be open on what's coming up. Y'all, we got one of them people, somebody with a wrench, if y'all can kick them out. We got one of the nut boxes. If you can block our crazy person. But, yeah, kick Miss Palmama or whatever the heck their name is out of here. It's one of them weird people. Thank you, Wendy. Any more y'all want to come up in there? We got enough people in here to block y'all and kick y'all crazy behind up and out of here with the BS. Robert's house, welcome to the channel. But there's a whole bunch that's going on, and there's a whole bunch of, if we get anybody up in here crazy, y'all with them wrenches, y'all can, block them and kick them right on up out of here. But I do believe that that's what's going on. Now, Wendy, to the point of the convoy, the trucking issue. I'm not against the vaccine. So that's number one. But I do believe in everybody got a right to choose what you're going to choose. However, I also believe a company has the right to tell you if you're going to work for them. They may require you to do certain things medically. It's the same if I'm a CDL holder, I have to thank you, Wendy. If I'm a CDL holder, I have to do a DOT physical. In that DOT physical, I have certain things that I'm required in order to hold that CDL. If I cannot meet those things, I can't hold my CDL. So my view is the same with that. My view is the same with people working in the hospital. Grumpy had to work in a hospital, and when he was doing respiratory, and if you worked in a hospital, you were required to get certain vaccinations to continue to work. It isn't until this COVID thing happened that everybody now is so up in arms on what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do, what you can tell me to do and not do. Okay, you don't have to do it, but you may not be able to have this job. Same way to me, when I went to school, we were required to have certain vaccines. Okay, your child, you don't want your child vaccinated, then you need to go get licensed in order to homeschool and take your child home. And then you can work with the government to redirect those funds for your house. Because I believe you can work with the government in order to not pay the taxes to the school, but those funds somehow come back. I can't remember how it is. I'm fine with the fact you got the right. We are America. That's one of the things that I love about this country is you got the right. If you want to be a Satanist, be a Satanist. If you want to be Christian, be Christian. You want to be Buddhist, be Buddhist. You want to be Muslim, be Muslim. You want to be Republican, be Republican. You want to be Democrat, be Democrat. You want to be independent, be independent. You want to not the hell vote, don't vote. You got the right to all of that. You got the right to commit a crime. You just have to pay the price for what you're going to do. You got a right to commit murder, but you got to pay the price for doing that. I hate to say it, you got the free will to do whatever the hell you want to do, even in the eyes of God. But there are going to be prices to pay for whatever you decide you're going to do. So I have an issue where people may force it, but you got the right to protest. So those truckers who don't want to go get vaccinated, and they got the absolute right to protest. Do I agree with the protest necessarily blocking commerce between countries? No. Do I think there's a peaceful way to do it. And when I look back, and granted I wasn't around during the civil rights movement, I mean I was born, but when I look back historically, I look back at people who did a peaceful protest. They sat in at restaurants and basically they sat there because the restaurants would not accept them. They couldn't order food. Look, I'm willing to come here, eat your food, order from you, but I want you to accept me. Now, did they block other people from coming in there? To my knowledge, no. They freely walked across the bridge that anybody could walk across arm in arm and did marches. They didn't do craziness. We weren't to my knowledge hanging from hanging from Capitol buildings, doing the madness. They did it in a peaceful way, in a decent way, in a respectful way. And I don't see a problem with that. But when you block people from being able to get food and goods and services, I think that's not the best move. However, you got the free will to do that, but the countries have a free will to haul your behind off. Um, I just don't necessarily agree with the way it was done. Again, I agree you have the right too. They can't trip playing. They can't trip playing Wendy. That's funny. You got the right too, and they got the right to do it. But unfortunately, I think doing that is not the best move. There would have been other ways to do it. I mean, they could have just left the trucks at and say, "I'm not going to take the shipments," and they could do what you call almost like a, what do you call it when the airlines strike? They could do almost like a strike, and I get that, but that would be like the airplanes parking themselves on a runway and blocking every other airplane from leaving. That's ignorant. It's just ignorant. If you, of your own self will, don't want to do something because you're standing against it, there's a way for you not to do it. And you can say, I'm not going to drive your truck. I'm not going to drive your goods and services. I strike. Now, that is going to have an impact because there's already a shortage in the country. But to stop those people who, you're hurting other drivers who may not necessarily agree with you, and they need to feed their family. You hurting people from getting some of the goods and services. Now, you got the right to strike and say, I'm not going to do it. But in doing that, you are still kind of hurting, but you're not hurting people who are going to do it. It's like in the old days, I think it was it the ports? And the mob was involved with them. And so if they tried to strike or whatever, it kind of got kind of ugly because the mob was making money, I think, off of stuff at the ports. I think it was what I'm thinking of, the old history thing. Y'all, I got this whisker. I'm trying to find it. He gonna come out eventually. Um, the mob was controlling it, if I remember correctly. That's my whole point. Yeah, that's my whole point, Wendy. Don't block off the interstate. Don't block highways. I mean, what they did caused disruptions to businesses just in the area that may have not had anything to do with their cause. And that to me is crazy. Hey, Liz, what's up, baby? Good to see you too. Yeah, so they blocked off commerce, which is insane. And to me, that is just ignorant. And it was. I think there was a better way to plan it. Um, so you don't agree with the vaccine. That's like the one woman that went up in the school talking about she gonna bring her gun because if anybody make her nobody making your child do anything, baby. If you know they request that they're gonna request that um that your child wear a mask and you don't want your child wearing a mask, then don't send them to school, homeschool them. There's things that if I or talk to them and tell them I'm not. And if the school says no, they got to. Okay, well, thank you very much. My child won't be coming back here, and that's what you feel. Then don't bring them back. I'm sorry, don't bring them back. It's the same to me as if I had a child and I had them in an inner city school where there was violence on a continuous basis, and I didn't feel it was safe for my child. If you feel that strongly about it, you need to make other arrangements. But now you're gonna tell the school you got to do this, or I'm gonna bring my gun up here and force you to behave the way I want you to behave. This is one of the things that bothers me about this new culture and a new generation of people. This new I'm gonna have it my way, and I call it the grumpy attitude. I'm gonna do it my way no matter what. Hold on. Right. If you don't want to get, and like I said, I don't really have a problem with the vaccines. Um, initially, to me, I wait. Let me tell you, I waited a while because I wasn't trusting it. Black people, we know about the Tuskegee experience and everything else, and all our red flags was up. We had to watch some pink folks. No offense to the pink people. We had to watch y'all get it. I need to see you get it and still be breathing, homie. And once I watched that, and then I also did my own research. I went to my healthcare professional. I did my own research first. I went to my healthcare professional who had gotten the shot. And I sat down and talked with her, and we had come to G. We looked at my underlying health issues. We looked at things about the vaccine. She educated me on things like I was due for my mammogram. She says, do not get that mammogram within XYZ time because there were things about the particular vaccine that could make the mammogram, something about the mammogram off. But those are the things you need to do. I had researched, I knew Pfizer was working on a COVID, wasn't COVID-19 related, but a COVID vaccine. Not just because of COVID-19, they had been working on COVID related vaccine for SARS and other COVID related issues. And this just forced them to have to, really step in. And I think that's why the mRNA type vaccine, I think they're the ones who really, some people are saying Moderna came up with it, but I think it was Pfizer who actually came out the gate because they were the first one out. Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like the people who didn't want to go in grocery stores and you fighting folks because do you own Costco? Do you own these grocery stores? I remember when it whole mask thing and this man just went straight the hell off. And I'm like, when was it that you owned Costco? See, I just look at it as no shoes, no shirts, no service, no mask in my business. I'm not going to serve you. And it's just like we had some gun shops they interviewed between here and Vegas, and they were Trumpers. And they were like, well, you come up in here with a mask, I'm going to tell you to get the hell out. That's right. If you want me not to wear a mask, that's your business. I don't have to buy from you. I can go somewhere else that's okay with me wearing a mask. And so, or vice versa. To me, it's a choice. I can spend my dollars here or not. But I don't own that business. So that business has the right. Now, if it becomes discriminatory based on ethnicity, that to me is a different story. This was more of a health issue. And the health issue was based on me watching out for my clients, but also watching out for my employees. And I'm following the medical advice that's out there. So what's wrong with it? I don't have one in here. It's a mask. And it's a medical mask. in order from you to prevent sharing your germs and prayerfully maybe help a little bit from you getting other folks' germs of a virus that's out here that can make you extremely sick. Um, but you know, this butthole personality, I'm gonna do what I want to do. It's my world. I'm like, whoa, that mentality was so weird. This self-centered, but what it reminded me of was what's wrong with the generations. Like I said, no offense, the 40 and unders. Not everyone, but quite a few. That you were raised up in, I'm gonna have it my way. Your mom and daddy didn't raise you to where you understand the world is not always your way. And it's not all about you. Me attitude. Exactly. And so it's all about me. It's the way I want it. It's everything surrounded around me. And I'm gonna have it my way. That is the attitude of a child. That's what Grumpy was, a grown child. My father was a grown child. Oh, too. And that's what this is how these people are. That was a 70-year-old grown little boy. And you got a bunch of 40s and 30 grown children, you know, and then they raising more children. I had a young lady at the job I'm at, God bless her, sweet, talking about she going to college, and she got 2 or 3 kids, so she had to go into the office because she said, well, the kids are off this week, and I didn't want a whole bunch of noise was on the phone. Now, my mother was crazy as a box of rocks. But when that woman told you to shut up and sit down, you shut up and sit down. The other problem is, why are they in the house? During the day, we raise a bunch of kids that sit around video games and they have no common sense. They don't get outside. And so, look, I was outside most of the day. My mom's like, you either got chores to do in this house or you go outside and play. Basically, I'm not going to have you up in here driving me crazy. If you work from home with crazy, with my mother, child, you would have been a church mouse up in that house and she would have knocked you in your head. But this new generation of kids, of people, I mean, I said it right, of kids raising kids, you allowing them to be entitled to behaviors, ain't got no manners, no sense, and they can just act a certain way. I'm working to feed us, so I don't want to hear a peep out of y'all. Y'all better be quiet. And either that or take your behind outside and play. And when them lights come on, you come on back up in here. And when you come up in here, you better come up in here quiet. But now these kids, they just act any old way. And it's acceptable and allowed. And so these people are the grown folks we have. This young lady, I told her I have my laundry done. Well, I'm single. And I had it done due to COVID because I don't have a laundry machine in here. She got a washer and dryer in her apartment. Got 3 kids. Kids are over, I think all of them look like to be over the age of 7. One of them is like preteen. She told me she going to have to use my laundry service because she has so much laundry backed up. How old did you say them kids was? What the hell you say? I was watching laundry at 7 years old for the whole house. Now, granted, my mother thought I was an indentured servant. But to me, there is no excuse that at a certain age, a child can't clean up behind themselves and do laundry. As a matter of fact, if mama's a single mama and there's 3 of y'all, all 3 of you ninjas, get in this house, break your laundry up, and you need to be doing your own laundry. That's a teaching issue. It's a training issue. It's an entitlement issue, and them kids are spoiled. There's no excuse to me. 0. I'm not paying a service when every last one of you ninjas got clothes on, you eat, you well taken care of. I'm working in order to maintain this, and I'm not doing that. Everybody up in here, matter of fact, I ain't even going to have to get up and do dishes. I'm not. Matter of fact, at a certain age, everybody going to be cooking. They're not. 0. Tell y'all a quick story, and I was sharing this with my friend Linda. I ordered from Instacart. And so they got a lot of these young people, they don't want to have traditional jobs, and that's fine. If Instacart works for you and you're making money, I don't care how you make money, make money. I ordered from Instacart. This baby, she come to deliver the groceries, okay? First of all, so where I'm sitting is right here, and my neighbor's right here. So his apartment goes kind of like, it's kind of hard for y'all to see. It goes like this, and mine comes like this. His box is over here, and it says number 4. I'm like this, and my box is right next to the door. It says number 3. First thing the chick does, she comes and delivers the groceries and puts them under the box for box number 4. So she has them over here, okay? I come out and I say, "What are you doing?" I'm Instacart. I said, "Okay. What number does that say?" 4. What number does your order say? 3, 3, 4. Oh, okay. So then she brings the groceries halfway and just sits them in the middle. I said, "No, you gonna bring those groceries over here." Y'all, let me help y'all. So I brought everything in after she got them here. Baby crazy as a box of rocks. I asked for an order of celery. An order of celery, y'all. I can't show you the picture because I can't. I had Linda on the phone week laughing, telling her this story. It's an old story. So I go putting up the groceries and I see a branch of celery. Y'all, I'm going to tell you what this baby did, which told me enough about how she was raised. I'm looking for the stalk of celery because the stalk of celery was $1. It said 1 celery. She pulled a branch off, wrapped it up in plastic like it was a gift. Because this baby too dumb to know that if I say get celery, it means the stalk and not to rip a branch off and put it in a plastic bag. Because they haven't been raised. They don't know how to shop. Don't know how to do nothing. Zero. That's what Linda did. Linda hollered for a while on my phone. She said, "Stop it, Shannon." I had to send her the picture. She didn't believe me. I had to send her the picture of the branch of celery. She was so weak she had to call her sister. She said, "Girl, I gotta share this with you." Thank you, Micheline. It is a rearing issue. While I was working out in Lubbock, there was a black lady supervisor. She's got 2 boys, 1 girl. She told my son come in the kitchen talking about, "Oh, when you done, make me one of those." I look, y'all see me looking, right? No. Let me explain something to you. My mom's evil, mean, vicious, malicious. But the one thing I give her, every last one of us know how to cook. Didn't matter, boy, girl, whatever. Everybody, if you're a child, you know how to cook, you know how to take out the trash, you know how to wash your behind, and you know how to clean up. I have an issue with mama. I can't stand a mama's boy. I can't stand a mama's girl neither. I can't stand a child who don't do nothing. It bothers me to no degree. I can't stand a child. My buddy, I love Joe dearly. He got one of the nephews. "Oh, I gotta leave this out because he don't like to eat it." Then that ninja need to get up in the kitchen and cook it for himself. Whatever I cook is how you gonna get it. I'm not making no special. And let me tell you, if you in my roof and I cook it, you better work it out. I grew up with this saying: "You better eat that food. Children in Africa are starving." That point blank period. And there wasn't no choices on what you got. Like I said, I eat pig feet. Do I want pig feet today? I ain't gonna say I hated them, but they odd. But I ate what was put in front of me, and wasn't no argument in the house because I didn't earn the money to make it and put it on that plate. And let me tell you, you turn your nose up at something. First of all, you went to bed hungry. You might have went to bed hungry and a butt whooping. When you got up the next morning for breakfast, that same thing you didn't eat was on your plate for breakfast. And if you didn't eat it at breakfast, you most likely was gonna get whooped. Okay, you weren't gonna be stubborn and stagnant, and I'm gonna show you. No, not in my household. These little bad A kids they got now, they're gonna show their parents and fold their arms. Oh no, 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 no. Because what ends up, you end up being a grumpy. That's what ends up. And you end up being all these little buttholes we got now who crazy and entitled. You end up being them. And thinking the world is supposed to be that way. You end up being them. And then they got the nerve to go into schools and tell folks they're going to shoot up a school. She had other issues. Her cruelty was other ways. I actually, for the food part, I'm not really angry at her. I'm not, because I see things in that same vein. Is that on the sense of, I supply food for you, I work to feed you, I put it in front of you, you need to eat it. There is nothing that she gave us that was poison. Zero. We ate, like I said, she wasn't, there were times she was a single mom. I ate very good. All of us got to 400 pounds. We ate very good. We learned how to cook. There, there was nothing that she fed us that was poison. Now, there's things I hate to this day, and we all grew up with things that we aren't going to like. But in the case of, let me explain something. If we actually went into starvation mode, I hate lima beans. I hate cod. I don't like red snapper. But baby, if all I had was cod, red snapper, and some lima beans, you best believe I'm going to work it out. The same way we have to go back to slavery, and we see that the best parts of the animals, like the oxtails and the hog maws and the chitlins, which is the intestines of animals, were given to them to eat. Pig's feet and things that weren't the best part of an animal. And we could take the worst part with a black, Latino, whatever minority group, and make that stuff be a delicious. Chow bye. You gonna work it out. You gonna work it out. So what it taught me was that I'm not like as self entitled as my father. So go back to that story I told y'all about when he got sick and he was staying with my aunt and uncle. And my aunt was like, "Oh yeah, baby, I'm gonna make some chicken breast and this." Oh, like chicken breast. My ninja, you at these people's house rent free. They stayed at the hospital every day while you was up there sick. They caretaking for you, and this woman is making one of her best meals. How do you fix your mouth? It's not that he don't like chicken. He like chicken, just the parts of the chicken he like. That right there is self-entitlement. It's rude and it's arrogant. And what my mother, about how she did it, I don't go in people's house and do that. And it's not saying you, if he didn't want to eat it, then eat something else at the table, but keep your damn mouth shut. And as a grown person, you got the right to do that, but keep your mouth shut. And that's it, it kind of taught you that. But as a child, you eat what's, you ain't earned none of it, so you eat what's in front of you. On a lot of other levels, though, my mom was very cruel. You're absolutely right. She was a vicious woman on a whole nother, that's other stuff. But when it came down to food and certain things, I'm not mad at her. Cleaning, now she treated me like I was an indentured servant. But we all clean, even my brothers. We all cleaned, we all cook. Even to this day, all three of us can cook and clean. Did she do a lot? No. But how these kids are growing up, they don't clean. Mama cleaning the house, she getting up doing the dishes, she cooking the meal, and you sitting on the couch playing video games and texting on your phone. And I'm talking about even the ones who are grown. I know. Hell to the no, no, no. I can't. I can't. Look, y'all got me on a whole nother tangent. But she was cruel, Miss Shalene, on other levels. On other levels, she's crazy as hell. But when it comes down to this new like another thing I noticed, so let me tell you. So I got an associate of mine, and we went into me, her, and her son, and this was when her son was a little boy. All you have to do is, and as a grown person, all you do is pass the plate. As a child, though, if I put it on your plate, you better damn sure eat it. But my, tell this story. It's something else I'm noticing with children, which is something that bothers me as well. So, associate of mine, we went to go eat, and her son, I get along with her son great now, he's grown. But we went, and I was paying for the meal. I was making big money there, so took him out, and we went to go to a soul food restaurant. So they didn't have like the McDonald's French fries. Oh, I'm gonna stop. He wants McDonald's. We ain't going to McDonald's. We're going here to the restaurant. He can order some fries there. So they came out with the home fries. The thick ones, and their French fries are just thick. This little ninja, and I can't remember how old he was, and I almost pushed it off the. That's a rearing issue. And again, it goes back to allowing children to control the narrative. I would have done some crap like that. My mom would have snatched me up, took me in that bathroom, and wore my tail out. You don't do that with food, and you don't do that to people who buying food for you. But that tells you how he was reared. Then it got to a point where the other thing I can't stand is when people go in there and these little kids, Bobby, what you want to eat? Oh, hell no. Not with my mother. We go to a Chinese restaurant. She gonna do chop suey. And there wasn't no asking me what the hell I want. She ordered it. And whatever I was ordered is what the hell I ate. Because you aren't at a point where you can decide. You're not at that level. But when you do get to that level, once I got to to 10 or 11 years old, that's when I could say, she goes, I'm going to get some hamburger. What do you want on your hamburger? Because that's when you start being trained to make decisions, and it ain't no him and han. But then the same child that you sit up there and control, they looking at you like, what do I look? Because you didn't rear them right to where they now read and make decisions. There's so much I see with this new generation of human. It's almost one of the reasons I don't even want to go back into an office, because they think different. They just do. And at 53 years old, tolerance is very thin. Some of them sweet as apple pie, but they think different. The thought process is different. Again, it's all about them, and I can't. I'm good. I'm no longer there. I can't. Let me go back. And we were talking about the war. So I personally think that this war is, and that's what I think it's for money. I think it's a distraction from the economic issues that we have. Like I said, somebody needs to help me, because what's bothering me, and don't get me wrong, again, I'm not in the background, and maybe there's something new, but my understanding, and maybe it's because I'm old school, is that most of our oil and gas came from the Middle East. So when Russia became a major group in this, I don't know, but I found that interesting. Not saying Russia may not have oil and gas, I just found it interesting that this is a new caveat, since I remember us dealing with them with the Berlin Wall and all that other crap. And I'm just having some issues. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know. It's just weird to me. And the whole Germany and them, and I'm just, stuff don't sound right to me. Like I said, what really bothered me was the phone call to Biden before all this started playing out. And the other thing that bothered me is, out the clear blue, all of a sudden it's an issue about Ukraine becoming partners with NATO. Why you care? Why you care? Why you care? It just stuff don't sound right. It don't sound right. I just saying. So I think war. I don't know. I think it's all about money, and I think there's some background stuff to all of it too. That's just me. I'm just saying. But it doesn't even matter, because I know it's spiritual too. So it's just meant to happen the way it is. And really, the other thing I got on here to say is, y'all make sure y'all have your food supply up, get your canned goods on, get your little garden going if you can. And I had a man tell me, well, I'm in an apartment, I don't have a way to grow. Child, I know people growing inside their house in they have a black little tent up in their house with grow lights, and they growing food right in their house. I'm just saying. So you can grow food even in your house if you want to. It might be a little extra work, but you can. And get your going on. As soon as I get this little car, I'll be right up at Home Depot and Lowe's getting more bags of dirt. And I'm working on my little garden out there right now. And I planted seeds. I'm getting ready to order. Matter of fact, when I get done with this, I'll be ordering some more seeds tonight that are going to be shipped, and so I can start. I've already, look, this is our calendar of growing seeds and stuff. I'm already working on it. Already. And I already got stuff out there. I'm waiting for stuff to pop. I got stuff that has popped. I was on here last night looking at what I could order and what I needed to order. Even my herbs, I'm ordering it. And as far as gas is concerned, that's another reason I want to work from home. Gas is going to be pricey. And right now the vehicle I'm getting is an older vehicle. It's going to take a lot of gas. So whatever you're doing, make sure you're being very frugal about it, because gas is going to be through the roof. California paying $5 a gallon. I was like, wow, this is crazy as hell. They paying $5 a gallon. And like I said, it's gonna have a huge impact. And right now they talking about all the crime on public transit, people doing tripping and flipping because everybody half crazy. You got people who need psychological evaluations and counseling because all of stuff happened with COVID, them being isolated and then having to deal with their own crazy self and not knowing how to deal with their emotions. Yep, and that's the only reason I actually need the card. Joe with the brother with the foot cut off, and the Down syndrome brother, and Joe's 64. He's getting old. I can even tell when he comes and gets me, his driving is changing. And so even me like getting up to the doctor's office, I need to have something to get up because when I go to this bariatric doctor, they're up in North Scottsdale, or I'm either going to the one in Mesa. I'm not sure which one until I talk to my doctor. But either way, it's a drive. It's about a 20-30 minute drive from where I'm at. And I can't today just doing Lyft to go to do my CT scan, the grocery store, all of that. That was easily almost 40, 10, 20, probably close to 40, $50. And that right there is probably a tank of gas that would have got me around for days. So if that. So at this point in time, no, I gotta change it up. So we'll see. God will provide. Like I said, God will provide. Oh, absolutely. And if you have that, plus I had to pay the copay for this CT scan today. That was a $300 copay. So you go do the math. That's a lot. That's the name. That's part of the dang little cheap car I'm trying to buy. So all of that adds up. And so yeah, I gotta change the script. So right now I'm scraping up the loot to get the car, which I'm hoping to have that on the 12th. I already called about the insurance, so I gotta have all that together because in order to register the car, I gotta have the insurance and all that. So the guy already got the title notarized. And like I said, I've just been blessed. An associate of mine hooked me up um, with this individual, and I was like, okay, the Lord knows. Oh yeah, you have no idea. You have no idea. Yeah, just to do a CT scan. That was a copay. So I don't even want to know what Aetna's picking up on the end of the bill. But I had to have a CT. They got it done. Much better experience with this company than that racist company I went to. But yeah. Anyway, y'all, it is what time is it? Let me just look through the comments and see what we got saying. Okay, Wendy, you did bring up something, and I'm gonna talk about this. You said something because I was looking through here. Wendy said we do not know what effects the vaccine will have. I'm gonna say this. Take this in the light that I say it. We have had medications come out that have a laundry list of side effects. Brand new meds. You go to your doctor, it may tell you what the side effects are. They did some trials. They found out, oh, it's a blood thinner. I'm just gonna use because I'm on warfarin. I won't even want to do the new blood thinners. Okay. So they've been trying to get me to switch to where that way you don't have to go. No, no, no. Warfarin's been around a long time. It has a good little history. I'm gonna stick with warfarin. Okay. Coumadin, warfarin, same thing. But we have different medicines that come out, and these medicines come out and they give you a laundry list of side effects that they may have found out about in the trial. Years later, you find out, oh, there's these other things, but also maybe some of the side effects they mentioned were worse than, or more prevalent. So then there's a class action lawsuit, and that lawsuit says, okay, we're going to sue the company for XYZ million. Didn't stop people from taking the meds. They still took the meds for whatever issue or health concern they had, knowing and sometimes not knowing what the side effects are. We got polio vaccines, and all them vaccines as a children, maybe not knowing what all those full side effects were going to be, what issues would happen, and we took them. It goes back to, does the risk outweigh the other issues? And I get, again, this goes to absolutely everybody's right to choose. I get it. But does the risk outweigh possibly the sickness? I know I saw $5 a gallon on the news and it was disturbing to me. I couldn't live in California, I'm just saying. I love visiting. I just know I can't live there. Y'all high as hell on a lot of levels. Yeah. But I think that we oftentimes, it's this new weird thought process to me, that all of a sudden we take this one thing and put it under a microscope. And I believe it's because of a lot of the conspiracy theories that we've gotten behind. Um, and again, it's your right not to go do the vaccine because you have whatever your feelings are. I got one, for instance, I don't trust the government, so she won't do it. She's African American. However, to me, what the government has to do, other than paying the companies for the vaccine, I mean, some they did take money ahead of time in order to do research. Pfizer was not one of them. Pfizer had already been researching ahead of time, and they did not take government money to complete their research to come up with the vaccine. Now, they are taking money to pay for the vaccine, which they got to get paid for their services. I'm not mad about that. We don't know, but we do know that from what we have seen, it has helped people, a good chunk of people, fight through it. There's been a very small percentage, at least from, hopefully, if the numbers are accurate, that have actually died from the vaccine, from being vaccinated. I've had the vaccine myself. I've had 3 doses. I did the 2 and the booster. Sore arm, first shot, nothing. Sore arm, the second shot. Sore arm, the third shot. That was it, and that didn't last long. Haven't had any issues. And knock on wood, I don't know that I've had COVID. I have not been sick, knock on wood, but I don't know that I've had it. I know people who've had it. I know people like Danielle who aren't here because of it. I know people who are still here who've had it and who have been extremely sick. I know people who have been sick and now have massive side effects from them, lifelong side effects from them, and may impact them being able to even hold a job. Okay? I know people who've almost lost children and they don't believe in the vaccine. I don't know if they've gotten it since then. I don't know. I haven't asked any questions. And I don't judge because to me, like I said, you got the right to everything. I don't believe in abortion at all. But you got the right to go have it. I don't believe in it. But you, boo boo. I believe it's murdering a kid. Whether it's something that you can't see arms, legs, or not, or it's just an impregnated embryo. I believe that's a child, and I believe you don't kill it. But again, do you, and we'll know when time comes if what you did was right or what you did was wrong. I know my own personal opinion on it. Um, when it comes to the vaccine, I don't think we can judge. We don't know what kind of side effects because we don't know side effects from a whole hell of a lot. Hell, the food we eat, the water we drink. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on in our environment that has massive side effects of which we don't know. We go to a grocery store, we pick up food by a company, we don't know what the hell they did with it. We don't know how they take care. Like I said, I went to some chicken facilities back in the day, and there's some experiences that I saw. And people don't know what's going on with their food coming to their table. I'm just saying, you don't know. I got to see from the truck side. I don't even work in the facilities. things that were disturbing to me. Not only with meat companies, I saw that on produce and other areas. I also saw the good of it. Like, for example, there's a potato place out in Farmington, New Mexico. They are very look, when y'all where y'all potatoes go? Because I need to get them. Because y'all they wash them, they temperature gauge them, they are persnickety about the trucks that come pick them up. You got to wash your truck out right then and there. They inspect. Phenomenal. I don't know if this company is even still around. I know Poor Brothers. There used to be a potato chip company here in Arizona called Poor Brothers Potato Chips. When they said their potatoes was fresh, they was fresh. They came from the farm of Farmington, New Mexico, right to the Poor Brothers facility here. And you had to park outside of there. When you backed their truck up, they rewashed them potatoes, and the system was cutting them up and frying them and bagging them as you were sitting there. When they said it was from the farm to the bag, they didn't lie. So I, I I've seen good companies, I've seen bad ones. You don't know. You don't know what you get. And that's why we got listeria and all this other stuff coming up on all these recalls. Because we don't know. You don't know. So do we know what's in a vaccine? No, we don't. Hell, we don't even know what's in our food. But we trust, we eat it, and we just pray for the best. And in this case, for this vaccine, it has a pretty good proven rate in comparison to people who took it, who most likely survived from it when they if they had breakthrough infections opposed to the ones who didn't. So what repercussions are coming down the line? I don't know. But we got so much stuff going on right now. What's that Monsanto and what's that the weed killer that causes a massive cancer? We're killing weeds and everything else with this stuff. Hell, some of us buy Miracle Grow and use it in our gardens. And I think it's made by Monsanto. And they have not had the best reputation for stuff. But again, we use stuff that we don't know what repercussions are going to come from it. But at the same time, is it pluses or negative? And once we do find out, so we might find out some bad things. But in the grand scheme of a pandemic right now, and having something to fight, like I said, I sit down with my medical. You got to make your decisions for you. I got friends of mine on both sides of the coin. My niece and her mom, they're anti-vax. Um, and my niece is becoming an RN. That's all right. I don't agree with it, but okay. Okay. And her philosophy was don't get the vaccine until you're sick. I'm like, dude, that's too late for that. What are you talking about? And she's right to that opinion. Like I said, everybody got the right to do what you're going to do. But there's a whole bunch of stuff we don't know what's in what. And even we don't know what the repercussions are. Today, when I went for the CT scan, I did one over here at St. Joe's. I told them I was on metformin. The first person that ever told me, do not take the metformin for 2 days after this scan when we do contrast because the contrast and the metformin can cause liver damage. This is the first person that told me that. They didn't tell me that at the CT scan place. I mean, at the original hospital. They didn't tell me that. They didn't tell me at the place that was treating me like funky. They didn't warn me that. These people were so much more detailed. We don't know. We don't know. They're injecting contrast into your body. And how does that I don't know what made that contrast is made out of. Mm-hmm. Sounds like it's got some things in it that ain't too good, but in the long grand scheme of things, it gives them a better way to see my internal organs to determine if I have bigger issues. And it might not be all that great for the body initially, and it may have some repercussions down the line. But down the line, if I find out I got something going on, I can either maybe start treating that early enough, and this thing down the line might be 10, 15 years from now. Whereas if I don't do this, I might not get but a year if something is out of order and I don't handle it. It's the same to me as prostate cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer. They shooting radiation through my body, which has not a good effect, which may have some other issues down the line, but it may buy me 5 or 6 more years. I think we just got to see the bigger picture and understand that we've been doing this for years. I stood in the line as a kid. Granted, I was a child, but my mother didn't know what the hell. She just knew I had to be vaccinated in order to go to school. What side effects those vaccines had later on, I don't know, if any. But I know right now we ain't battling with polio and whatever else I was getting vaccinated for. So I just think we got to look at it from a bigger picture, and I get the concern because everybody, oh, this came up really fast. That was one of the things. This vaccine was created really fast. No, on the Pfizer side, no, it wasn't. It's been years in the making. They just had to up their game quickly and come on up with the solution based on research they had already gotten, and they did what they could, and they did it quite swiftly. And it's okay. Like I said, all this is happening for a reason. Anyway, y'all, we are at an hour and change. I'm ready to get off of here. Um, oh, everybody gonna be close to $5, but y'all, you big states like Miami and California, y'all gonna be paying up the yin yang. Everybody in between gonna be between $3 and $4 a gallon, and it's probably gonna go up to even more than that. Like I said, there's a whole bunch coming, and how that's going to affect transportation industries and for delivery of foods. And like I said, the goal is that the rich ain't gonna they don't want that coming out their pockets, so they're gonna roll this down to us. And that's why I said right now, I'm stocked pretty well. I'm gonna keep on stocking. My next Costco haul is gonna be major. I haven't done meat in a long time, but I have spam down there. I got canned chicken and I got canned tuna. And my next major Costco haul, I don't know if I'm buying all three or at least two, but I'm ready to up my game to my canned meats two at a time. And I don't actually have to have meat, but I'm gonna definitely do that. Oh, delivery is going to get much worse. This what we're dealing with now. Not only delivery, but supply chain issues. So I don't know if you guys know. Like I haven't been able to find distilled water out here. You can't find distilled bottled water, even at the Latino grocery store. Matter of fact, I was even went to the little baby section where you see the water they use in the formula. I don't even know if that's distilled water. It might be purified water. Oh yeah, it's gonna be much worse. It's gonna be much worse. And my concern is the partnership now, the friendship between Russia and China, which biblically is supposed to happen anyway. Um, but it's gonna get much worse. But yeah, y'all get your canned good game on. And if, like I said, if you got the capability garden, I don't care if it's even in bags. Hell, you can take storage bins, the little bins I got clothes in. Matter of fact, some of them I'm getting ready to turn those into garden bins. They're gonna turn into raised beds. Turning some of my storage bins that I don't use or that are broke down or whatever, the lids don't fit right, wash them out. I'm gonna fill them up with some dirt, put some holes in the bottom of them, and we're gonna be growing some plants up out of them. Yeah, it's over. Look, let me help y'all. It's over. All the madness and folks. It's over. We're good. I'm good. You don't have to go and pay hundreds of dollars in order to grow a plant. And seeds, I got a place, guys, go to M.I. Gardner. M like Mary, I ice cream. Gardner. He sells the seeds for $2 a packet. Matter of fact, I'm doing an order from him tonight. There's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to get off here because I do work tomorrow. Yeah, well, I'm thinking I work tomorrow. I put in for it off. And I'm hoping I'm going and see that they gave it to me off. But we're getting ready to hit our busy season because of taxes. And folks wanting to use all of this stuff. So I gotta get ready to take my little butt to bed and do that. But yeah, the sauce. Oh, and Kathy, I think it was Kathy. The the oh my goodness, the vanilla extract. I used it in some banana bread. It's only a month. I think it's only been about a month, but the whole thing now smells like vanilla. I can't wait for it to even get stronger. And I'm gonna see about ordering the vanilla beans in bulk. And I know the two that you want are either the Madagascar. I am really trying to get this air. He is not. That thing is in. And I even got my. It's hard to see because it's right here. I can feel it, and it's like a whisker, but it's hard to see. But I'm gonna see if I can get the if I can get my Oh, you know what? I might have a little mirror where I can hold it and try to get it, cause he's a beast. I can feel him. He's obnoxious. I don't know why it bothers me. He just bothers me. I have one here on my chin. He was curled up. He was thick. Anyway, old people stuff. But y'all, The vanilla extract, I'm also be working on that too. I'm gonna see how to do it in the Instapot, because the Instapot can actually, I guess, it makes it kind of age a little quicker, so it turns into the vanilla quicker. And then I have to order bottles. So I think I'm gonna start the sauce in 8-ounce bottles and just sell that and see what people think. But I did make a batch. I'm gonna send some out to some people I know first. I want to get their viewpoint on it. And then I still have not done the logo. I mean, I know the logo in my head, but I haven't actually created it yet. So I'm gonna do that. And then I also have to put a warning on there because my base has nuts in it, and some people have nut allergens. I'm gonna try to come up with a base with no nuts, but that won't be, because the spice base I create, it has nuts in it. It just is ground into the whole base that I use. It's a bunch of southern, or not southern, but southwestern seasoning, and I make it. It's almost a paste. Actually, I even use it to do my meats. So actually, like how I did, and I'll have to do a batch so you can see it, because I call it the mud because it's that dark. It's like a dark paste, and then I bring it in to make it more liquidy after you get all the spices together. But it's dark, and then I put my. Usually, you're supposed to go brush on the meat. I'm doing it the Ziploc way, because I was like, this is a long way to do this, and I just put it in a Ziploc. I dump a little bit, a couple spoonfuls in there, and then I just put the meat in there, get the meat coated in it, and then I put it on the grill. It takes your meat to a whole nother level. It does. The flavor, everything. It takes it to a whole nother level. And then I use that same base in my barbecue sauce, which gives it a different spin. So yeah, but we'll be getting that out here soon. Anyway, y'all. Okay, I don't know she talking about somebody in a date. I don't know, my friend. Anyway, y'all. Peace, be blessed, y'all be safe. Make sure y'all get y'all food stocking game on, because these prices are going to go up more. Make sure y'all get y'all some gardens growing in the back, because if this war, I'm hoping it doesn't turn out as I think it's going to turn out, it's not dragged out. Because if it's dragged out, but even if it's not dragged out, they're going to do those sanctions just for them going into Ukraine. And that's if we are actually quote unquote getting fuel or whatever from them, or just to use it as an excuse, it's going to have an impact. But y'all be blessed. 2 and 2, be safe. I might do a video this Sunday. I'll try to tell y'all if I schedule it. Peace.